As the official healthcare provider of Minnesota United, Allina Health is dedicated to delivering pro-level care for our Loons. But the partnership goes much deeper than what happens on the field. From our shared support of youth-focused nonprofits like Roots for the Home Team, to championing programs for adaptive athletes with the MNUFC Power Soccer Team, Allina Health and Minnesota United are committed to providing an altogether better experience for Loons fans. Learn more at allinahealth.org/loons. Welcome back to another great episode of Sound of the Loons, brought to you by Allina Health. I am your very, very tired host, Zarek Valentine. My wife gave birth at 1 a.m. last night, so daddy hasn't gotten much sleep, but baby and mama are okay. And we are joined by a very special guest of mine, someone who got married last year, someone who's fallen deep in love, and hopefully will share some of the same feelings I had yesterday with his future family. And that is the one and only Morris Duggan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to you and your family, of course. And yeah,
thanks, bud.
It'll take me a few more years, but hopefully I'll get there at some point.
No need to rush into kids. You're still a young stallion. Welcome officially to the show. It's been awesome having you back this season. We worked together last year. You went on loan, you came back, and I don't necessarily want to dive too much into that because you can read some of the other pieces that we have written out on MNUFC.com on Morris. But I just wanted to kind of just leapfrog straight into preseason. What was it like getting back with the team? Obviously, you're a great personality from the group, someone who's young, but someone who's very strong and confident in who they are. What was it like getting back into the group first in Santa Barbara, then leading into Palm Springs?
It was great. It was definitely a lot different to last year. Like last year, I'm a rookie, and obviously confidence wasn't there yet. I really just tried to fit in, kind of. But this year, I work a lot on my mentality and playing in Rhode Island and like bigger games gave me a more confidence, and I came in like trying not only to fit in, but trying like, all right, what can I really do here? Like, where do I stand? And just, yeah, I really wanted to impact it, have an impact on the team. And yeah, so a way better mindset. And then preseason, you couldn't really tell where the team was. It was really open, and I was just trying to give my best every day. And I mean, team has been amazing, and coaches, including you guys, have been amazing to me and given me a lot of confidence. And yeah, I was just taking it day by day, and then now we're here. So
yeah, I mean, obviously we're here. We're going to get to the what here looks like. It's been great having you back within the group. Obviously, your presence, a natural, big, strong, athletic left-footed center back. They don't grow on trees. Maybe in Germany, I don't know. They don't in Minnesota or Pennsylvania. So maybe they grow on trees where you're at. But when you talk about fitting back in with the group with the confidence and getting confidence, you returned a different player. And obviously that's from a lot of your experiences going on loan. And a lot of times people view going on loan in a negative light. But I went on loan and I made it an incredible experience and ended up staying at the club that I was at for 3 years in Norway. And your case is a little bit different where you came back immediately. But talk about a little bit of your mindset coming back, having played in a final, played in very meaningful games throughout the playoffs, and then stepping back into a level in which might be viewed as a little bit above where you were at, but stepping in very seamlessly in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So obviously the level is high in MLS, like you can say that. But for me, because last year I played a lot with the second team, and I felt like when I got jumped back into training with the first team, and even like the few games I played or was on the bench, it was just like, it was too big of a difference. I would say like it was like night and day almost. Like, not that the level is that bad in the second team. It's just like the meaningfulness is a little bit different, and like it's a different team atmosphere. So going on loan, like in the USL, there's great players, and it's a good level. It's grown men, and that's what I wanted to play. And it gave me like I immediately came, and Rhode Island is a great place, and I got along with everybody, and started playing, and started feeling really good. And obviously we made a big run, and we played in front of a good crowds. Um, and yeah, just prepared me a little bit more. And afterwards, I see a lot of guys coming from USL to the MLS and succeeding, including like Carlos, for example. He did the
Mhm.
same thing. He played in USL and then came back MLS, and he's doing phenomenal. And I was just like, all right, I'm doing really well in the USL on the highest level. So it gave me that like confidence. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this. I can do this. And um, yeah, just different confidence, and closer level. Still a big difference, but yeah.
So do you feel you're doing anything different, or do you feel as if more you've been put in situations where you can succeed, where you can fail, where you can learn and go from there? So do you think you're a different player in terms of your skill repertoire, or is this more refining your skills, knowing what to do, when to do it, and then also just kind of trusting the lessons you've learned over the past year?
Yeah, for me, I would do like I think I'm still the same player, but I do a lot different mentally now. Like I started this year and even a little bit when I was in Rhode Island, because I talk a lot to like Will, and Sam's big on it, and now Calvin too, like just like that mentality part of like it dictates your game. Like I think I'm still the same player. It's just like maybe last year I got like nervous a lot, and then obviously you play different like when the pressure's higher. So like just trying to put yourself in those positions and try to keep a calm mind so you can do the things you know you can do under like those circumstances of pressure. And I still learn so much every day, and I just got started with like the whole mindset and topic, and but it helped me so far a lot, just like keeping calm and like rather enjoying those like pressure moments instead of like being scared of them. That's like a big part for me, and I feel like that helps me like get rid of like the anxiety and like fear, just like enjoying it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. I when I did my retirement message, one of the three pieces of advice, along with get yourself a good wife, when you got that one,
Yeah.
you're an animal in the gym, which you got that one. Is the other piece of it is try to figure out the mental side of things. I did it way too late in my career. It provided me
Yeah.
stability, but I wish I would have talked to someone in good moments and in bad. I went on loan when I was in Montreal to Norway because the coach basically told me, you're not fitting in here. So I said, okay. And it ended up working out where I went to Norway and I fit in with my club and I signed a new contract there. But again, your situation is different where they wanted you to go and learn and grow. And being European, do you have a different mindset about that? Because I feel like in America, there's a stigma around it, but in Europe, it's fairly common to go
Yeah.
to different clubs. So was your mindset different going into it? Because, and then we'll dive back into your current mindset. So was that something that you were comfortable with or knew a lot about or wanted?
I definitely Obviously, it was a weird timing, because if you would have asked me like a month or two before the loan, I would have wanted to go, because I was like just like straight up in the second team kind of,
Yeah.
and I wanted, for me like the USL was a little bit above the second team, so I wanted to go. But then I was playing in the Leagues Cup and I got like good feedback, and I was like, oh, like this could be my chance. But it was really great, like from the front office and from Ramsey talking to them, like just being realistic and saying like, look, you did well, but we have to make the playoffs now. Like this is not a time to experiment. So we had an open conversation, and they just said like they think they can see the potential, but doing it on like a level like the USL will be great now. So we had this open conversation and just being realistic, and that gave me a good feeling about leaving, because it wasn't like, all right, we don't want you here. It
Yeah.
wasn't anything like that. And having that open conversation with Ramsey and with the front office uh, was great. And that gave me like confidence. Okay, like you guys are interested, and it's not like they sent me on loan and this was it. They're not going to pick up my option. No, it
Yeah.
was the opposite. They wanted me to prove it on this stage, and yeah, that I felt like they believed in me, so that gave me confidence, and I was able to do so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great, and I think there's definitely a jump between playing in games in Blaine as opposed to playing in games in Rhode Island, and then
Mm.
playing away and starting away at LAFC.
But yeah.
I've pretty much done all three, so I know the feeling of what you're saying. But I would say, it's really cool because you've always been someone in the short time we've known and played together to run towards the fire as opposed to running away from it, right? So when you
Yeah.
talk about the mindset in terms of embracing the challenge, it's easy to play home games compared to away games, but
Mhm.
do you find that like when you're playing in these difficult environments away at San Jose and away at LAFC and even home a home game against oh man, my dad
Montreal.
really kick it in. Montreal, sorry. Um, those are not they're not there's not easy games. There's no easy games in MLS. Do you feel, almost as if you're looking in the moment and you're having this out of body experience because you feel comfortable now and you've been there, you can almost start to now talk to the center mid, talk to the wing back, talk to the center forward because you feel confident enough in your own game that now you can kind of branch out to try to work with everyone else as opposed to being so inwardly focused on what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like you said it perfect. It's not easy games, and I would lie if I say like I don't feel nervous, or especially like before the games or the week leading up to LAFC. I obviously had my nerves. I didn't know how this was gonna go, but then really working on my mind and trying to stay calm, and then like once you step out on the field, just having that perspective of like, all right, I can either be like scared of this moment and get in my shell, or I don't know how many times I get to do this. Like this is my dream growing up. This is like everyone's dream, watching soccer and like just being appreciative of that moment and like seeing all the fans around instead of getting intimidated. It kind of like fuels me now, and
Mhm.
I just had that shift in perspective and mindset, and I think that changed like everything for me. Like even when I was playing in Rhode Island or going back to college, it was difficult for me, like in the bigger games, to keep my cool and like trying
Mhm.
to get out the shell. But I just had that realization kind of, and now it's like, all right, I look around and people are screaming at me, even away games, and
Best.
it's like it's the best. Like I used to watch those games on TV and be like, oh, I want to be there, and just having that perspective of like, I don't know how many times I get to do this, but this is beautiful, and then having fun doing it, and then everything else comes from itself. Because like I said, like in training, everyone can do everything, and just being able to do that. And
Yeah, I listen, I echo everything you're saying. I remember I think the biggest difference for in layman's terms, meaning to make it really obvious for fans, is I think a big perspective for young professionals is, and maybe you can, I want to hear your thoughts on this, but for me, when you're a young pro and you get put into big games, your immediate mindset is, I don't want to make a mistake. And you're
yes,
afraid and you're in your head and you're going, I'm going to play safe. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to do something so I never get this opportunity again. Whereas now, with experience, now you can lean into that experience and say, listen, I have this experience and I'm going to be challenged, but like I'm going to embrace the challenge because I know I can fall back on my experience. And that for me was a big shift that I had early in my career at some point. And that takes games, that takes
yeah.
mistakes, that takes getting benched, that takes a bunch of different things. But for me, that was a big shift. And it seems as if you have something similar going on in your own head.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy because it's been 3 games, but for me, it felt like the whole season
Yeah.
because of like the growth you were talking about. Like, obviously, I don't have any experience yet. I played 3 games in MLS, but just like every game, it's like the confidence gets higher and you just get more comfortable. And I feel like our playing style helped me a lot too because it's very defensive. So I could just focus in the first few minutes of like, all right, I'm defending, I don't know what I'm doing, like uh, I do these things, and then you build like this momentum kind of, and then when you get on the ball, you're more comfortable already, and then yeah, like you said, not just like trying to not make a mistake, but then you go from like, all right, playing it safe or like getting your confidence up to like, all right, now I can impact the game and what can I do, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely what you said.
At Target, we're ready to cheer with the hometown fans and gear you up for an epic season. Whether watching from the stands or your living room, score big on game day with everything you need for the win. We're here to be your home field advantage at Target and Target.com. For me, on the ball, it was at first, when you first step foot in MLS games, it's very fast.
Yeah.
And then when you play a few, you realize it's not as fast as you probably thought, right? You initially you're going like, this is crazy. And
Yeah.
then eventually you're going, I don't know why. Like I have a little bit more time than I thought. And
Mhm.
then it's the being in that mindset of, oh, now I can play this pass. Now I can miss here. Now tactically we can go there with the ball or the big switcher. You can see things a little bit different. So again, I empathize with you because we played games in Blaine together. We played a few games there, and then suddenly you get thrown into games away in Seattle and Leagues Cup, and like that's
That
not
was,
an easy thing. That's
yeah.
not an easy place. Um, and then again to have the resiliency to rebound to go and to make it to a final last year, which was awesome, and to get to where you're at now, it's been a lot of fun. And has that has this shift in mindset in terms of earning a spot in every single day, basically, and you brought it up yourself, it's been 3 games. And obviously I'm excited to see where these next few games go, of course, of the season. But is it a day by day? Is it an earning a spot week by week, day by day mentality for you to kind of keep everything in perspective? Or are you thinking long term or just right now it's let's get to the weekend and then I'll shift Monday, Tuesday next week?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like it is definitely game by game. It's day by day, training by training. I try to not just like think, oh, I can't be sure about my spot. I'm just like trying to really focus on myself, not compare myself too much to the other players and feel like, oh, if I make a mistake, then there's a guy waiting. Obviously, we all know we signed Romero, and he's a great player, and he's young and he's hungry. He wants to play. So I know there's the competition is right there, but I really try to focus on myself, and because I know if I do all the things right, then that's all I can do. That's all I have in control is myself. So really taking it training by training and taking feedback, growing. I know like these 3 games have been amazing, but I have a long way to go. Like I have a lot to learn and just trying to grow every game and grow throughout the season. That's my biggest goal. Yeah.
I think there's a mentality that something you speak about that's great is we always think we have to lose. We have to break up with somebody. We have to go through some pain to learn and to grow as people. But you can also grow while you're having good moments, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After this, I have a few clips I want to show you from the past game about, things that we've worked on and things that are going well and things that we need to continue to do well. And
Mhm.
I think that's really great how you have this mindset as a young guy to not just feel that you need to play bad in order to learn and in order to get
Yeah.
better. And I think that's a really important thing for some of the young people. I don't know who's young and listening, but if they are, that's a really good thing for some of these young players. Um, so take us back to just a really quick recap. We're not going to dive too deep into every individual game. Just some
Mhm.
of your initial thoughts about the 3 different games that have been played: Montreal, LAFC, San Jose. They're all different. Did you notice anything fun, anything different, anything that maybe stood out to you that was a moment in which came full circle? Because for me, every time after we walk out, we do the anthem, we give our jackets out, we do the team photo. From the team photo to the team huddle, I always took moments to soak it all in.
Mhm.
Were there any moments or anything interesting or fun and that you went through over the past 3 games where you kind of either said, you know what, I can do this, or this was fun, or man, I really liked blocking Joseph Martinez's shot from
Yeah.
6 meters out, or take us into some of your thoughts, just generally over the first 3 games.
I mean, there's a lot, like you said, the block was amazing and I mean in the moment like you don't really realize it that much, but then after the game, like I have my family talking about it and stuff, and then you go back into the moment, you're like, all right, this was actually pretty cool, and you're like
This was
pumped
a pretty
up.
big moment.
Yeah. But like the most memorable was like against LAFC in the first game because I was really nervous leading up to that game. And then while walking out, I just took that like moment of like looking around and having that realization of like, all right, this is not as intimidating as I thought. This is actually like the best ever. Like the first game of the season, in whole MLS, like not only our first game, but the first game of the season, packed stadium, fans are like screaming, and then I had another realization in the 70th minute. I think it was in the LAFC game, but because when you play, you're like in a zone, right? But I took a moment, the ball was out of bounds, and I looked around and I was like, this is like the best like moment ever. Like this is literally my favorite thing in the world, and I love it so much. And that really just gave me that different perspective to where now before every game, instead of being like the pressure, I'm really like enjoying it and having fun, you know?
I fully get that. And for me, I always loved at times in games, usually late in games, as an outside back when I played in a back four. When the ball would go out for a throw in, I had full control over the whole game.
Yeah.
So I always liked at times, I'm someone who's very high energy, maybe ADHD, depending on who you ask. But I was able to control everybody in the stadium for one moment where I was able to get a throw in and walk, switch the ball, take a deep breath, kind of give my mind a break and say like, this is pretty damn cool, man. We get to
Yeah.
do this in front of some really cool fans, and we play with some really good players. We're playing against some really good players.
Yeah.
And I think people a lot of times get afraid of really good players, but if you try to live up to the challenge and the excitement, which I know you, which obviously we've spoken about you doing, it can make those matchups even more fun. So
Yeah.
I fully understand you when you say, just soaking it all in. And I think you've been doing great. And obviously you've been taking a lot of steps in your game. We've talked a bunch about that. But, what's it like playing next to Michael Boxall, and specifically someone who's played in the league for as long as I played in the league and, 15 plus years. I didn't play 15. I think he's at 15 or whatever. He's played longer than me. But yeah, what's it like playing with someone with so much experience? And obviously, you can bridge the gap of language that some of the other center backs can't. So,
Yeah.
what's it like being able to just have conversations with them, learn, grow, and even, tell them stuck in on the tackle and have that side of things.
I mean, I'm a bit hesitant. Like, obviously, he's like a legend of the game, and I don't think he has anything to learn from me. But I really try to just listen to whatever he says, and like the small details that makes him great. And he's been amazing. Like, I was always able to go to him for help, and he always had like a great answer for me. And then just in games, being next to him, it just seeing like what he does, like every tackle and like in the air, he's amazing. He's a physical presence, and I'm just trying to like do the same things he does. And yeah, it just gives me even more confidence being able to play someone next to him because I know like he's got my back too. It takes a little bit off the pressure because I know like if I were to make a mistake, he's right there, and he always makes the right decisions and never puts me in like a bad situation. So he makes my job really easy and gives me that confidence too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Listen, I played next to him a bunch when I was playing right back. I can fully attest to all that. There's a presence I think that he has that's great. A lot of players have a lot of their individual qualities, but I called him the Kiwi Commander when we
yeah,
played because he has this stoic presence that just kind of provides this comfort
yeah,
when you're playing next to him. And obviously, I know, he's definitely played more years than you. He's a veteran within the team, but I can say that he's enjoying playing next to you because he's been you previously. So
yeah,
he understands the role and the responsibility he has in terms of helping you, being critical, being complimentary, having your back, and all that stuff. So he's enjoying that process and seeing someone grow right before his eyes, along with Bo and Maxwell's kids. But no,
yeah.
it's been. I'm sure he's enjoying that, even though he isn't the most talkative person. So just to quickly wrap it up here, it's been awesome catching up with you. I know we've had some of these conversations, and I'm happy we get to share them with the public. But we touched on it a bit. But in terms of just your expectations for the year, I don't know if you said any, but based off of this conversation, you're just enjoying the moment and trying to take it little by little and soak it up and get better every single day. But if you have any expectations, I'd love to set them. If not, just, we're looking forward to potentially seeing you in the group on the weekend and seeing hopefully another Loons victory.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more all about the team now. Like I feel like you said, obviously personally, I just want to do my best and enjoy every game. That's the biggest thing for me. But yeah, I think these first games have been very promising, and obviously now there's gonna be times where some guys are gonna be away on international break and stuff like that. But I feel like the core, like our group, the messages and like the things we do in training every day, it's really promising, and I just hope we can take it far. And the expectations are high, and as they should be. And yeah, I just want to win every game, especially at home.
I love it.
It's the best feeling ever. Like after the game, the song comes on and you just celebrate with the fans. There's no better feeling than that.
Oh yeah, I played against Minnesota and lost plenty of games here before. In my
Yeah.
opinion, I hated Wonderwall till I got here. So now I can sing it and I can laugh. But listen, man, it's been great, obviously following and working with you, playing with you, now working and following you. It's awesome. I love your mentality, and I hope that some of the younger people on this podcast can listen to it and learn from your openness, your drive, and what you're doing. And also the fact that you're laying a foundation, right? Brick by brick, we're going. We're not necessarily getting too ahead of ourselves. We're not setting these lengthy goals and expectations through the roof. It's let's just get better every single day. And that does sound corny, but when you embody that like you do, I'm really excited. But thank you very much for joining the Sound of the Loons podcast brought to you by Line of Health. I hope you come back another time. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Morris.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been really cool.
Of course. And now we are going to do some video after this
Yes.
because I have a few clips I want to show you. But again, thank you so much, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you.